Hey guys, pretty pumped to be here today. I'm Rob Tatro and I'm here with Quentin. We'll be releasing one video per week to help you with your preparation for Run with Rob. Great to have you here, Q.
Happy to be here. Hi everyone, I'm Quentin from Raval Physiotherapy. Like Rob said, I'll be here for the next 8 weeks. Happy to be here. Can't wait to show you my expertise.
Pretty exciting. Over the next 8 weeks, we'll be covering a lot of ground. Basically, we're going to be covering tips about training, recovery, mobility. We want to make sure that you're ready and able to complete that half marathon.
Quick disclaimer before we get started. We just want to make sure that it's your first time running a half marathon. If you're first time training for any long race, make sure you take care of your body. And if you have any injuries or any concerns, please seek medical advice from your doctor, from a physiotherapist, or any other healthcare professional. These are not medical advices we're going to give you. This is just quick tips and tricks of the trade. But if there's any major concern or any injuries or any other things, please seek medical advice.
Plenty of time for you to still sign up and register and train for Run with Rob. Go to the website, runwithrob.com. There's an 8-week plan for you to start today to train, to be ready to do a half marathon in 8 weeks. All right, let's get into it right now. Let's go. Let's start with tip number 1. Take it slow. You're going to want to get out there and run 1,000,000 miles an hour. You're going to want to do 50,000 miles your first week. It's not necessary, and your body probably can't handle it. So what I would suggest, not only start each run slow at a comfortable pace that you know you can complete, but also you don't want to get to the point that you're dreading the run. You don't want to get to the point that you're like, oh, I don't want to run Tuesday because it's so hard. So if you're running slow, that's fine. If you're walking too, you can run, walk, that's okay. Just take it nice and easy and don't increase your mileage by more than 10 or 15 or 20% at the most from 1 week to the next. Tip number 2. Train outside, all right? Training on a treadmill, I know because I did all of my first year of training on a treadmill. You get outside, you're not ready for it. So if you have the ability to go outside, and there's no reason why you shouldn't because you can dress up for any temperature, even if you're a Manitoban, get some miles outside. 1, you're gonna feel a lot better because you're getting that vitamin D, you get some time to yourself, you're on the road. But 2, you're gonna work on some of those muscles, the calves, the ankles, the tibialis that you're gonna talk to us about, that are really gonna form and help give you that strength you need to do 20,000 steps over the course of 2.5 hours. So don't hesitate to go outside. You're gonna love it.
First of all, we want to do a little bit of self-screening to see if there's few spots that we're maybe lacking, that we need to spend a bit more time on. The 2 main things that we often get injuries for with running long distances is ankles and is knees. So if we have these 2 things, which is going to be ankle dorsiflexion, which is bending at the ankle, and quad strength, those are 2 things that if we're set up properly, that we can prevent some injuries. First things first, we're gonna come up to the wall. So this is the ankle dorsiflexion test. So we're gonna compare both sides. So the first side here, you're gonna go ankle or foot as far or as the wall as you can, and you're gonna lean into it and try to get your knee touching the wall. So here,
am I supposed to have my back foot flat?
So back foot can be flat, can be moved again. What we're looking for here is to see at what point the heel comes off. So that's about where your right ankle moves. And then if we mark here, we'll compare it to the left ankle. So you're gonna bring your left foot to where about my finger is. There we go. As we saw, your right ankle was just a little bit stiffer than your right, but not too much to be concerned about. Biggest worry is if we have less than 3 inches away from the wall, that means we're significantly deficient in our ankle dorsiflexion, or there's a major difference side to side. We notice maybe a 1/2 inch difference from side to side, so you don't have to worry too much. You can spend a little bit of time working on that ankle dorsiflexion on the right side, but again, nothing to be too concerned about. Second self-screening thing we want to do is just to test quad strength. So when we're running, we're never spending time on both feet. Everything is 1 foot to the next. The act of running is catching yourself falling on one leg, catching yourself falling on the other leg. When it comes down to it, what we need is quad strength for that. We need to be able to handle that eccentric knee flexion and control that falling forward movement. Quad comes into play for that. So a great self-screening tool for that is a single leg sit to stand test. So we're looking for something that a seat, a chair, a bench, whatever you have at home, that has your knee at about 90 degrees. This is probably a little bit too low for me, but for Rob, a little shorter guy is gonna be perfect. So what we're looking for, we're gonna do both sides. Here, we're looking for discrepancy from one side to the other. So goal here, you're trying not to use your arms to get up. So arms crossed, arms by your side, arms here, other leg up. And we're looking to see how many times we can sit to stand one leg compared to the other, okay? I would say, if we're getting, 10 to 15 on each leg, good way to start. You don't have to think about you need 25, but biggest thing again is side to side difference. We want to have some pretty even strength on both sides, okay? So I'll get you to try that one out. Let's just see how many Rob can do.
Tired already, Q.
So as you can see,
That's yes.
Rob able to do 10 pretty easily.
I did
on that
27.
test. Yeah,
27.
Yeah. So then we just compare the other side.
I'm not supposed to touch the other leg
exactly.
whatsoever.
So we don't want to use your other leg, your arms, or anything on the way up or on the way. And it's not a speed contest either. Take this as slow as you need to.
71?
71 on the left.
That's not bad.
So again, we're looking at both sides, pretty even. Again, you don't need to do this test every day. Just do this at the beginning. Try to compare. Again, if they're struggling, you're not even able to do one coming up. Again, not the end of the world. Doesn't mean that you can't start running. You just need to be mindful that we probably need to work a bit on this, okay? So if you're doing this test and you can't even get one up, what I want you to try to do is see how many you can do, but using the other leg just for a kickstand, just for a little bit of support. And that'll give you a good idea. And then same thing, you compare both sides. And that'll, again, be able to show you left or right if there's an issue.
It's a good thing that I was able to get it up.
Absolutely. All right, so after our ankle dorsiflexion test, we noticed, again, Rob had a little bit of deficiency on his right ankle. I was a little bit stiffer on my left ankle. So here's what we can do for an exercise. So first exercise for this, you're pretty much going to do the exact same movement we did against the wall, but you're going to find a stool, a step, chair, whatever you can get your foot up on, and we're going to reproduce that movement. What we're going to add, though, is with your fingertips, with your hand, you can also even add a band and have it pulling backwards. A little bit more complicated, but easiest way, find the front of your ankle, kind of right between both of your ankle bones, and you're just going to put a little bit of a pressure going backwards to kind of keep that ankle stiff and held into place, and then you're just going to lean forward and kind of put a little bit of pressure going forward. So that's going to force extra dorsiflexion into that ankle and give it a little bit of a pull. You'll feel a little bit of a pull through the front of the ankle, which is fine. What we don't want is you pushing into any pain. If you're feeling a strong pinch or anything, ease off of it. We're not trying to push into it too much. You're also trying to stay pretty neutral in the movement. I don't want you twisting or anything like that, but pretty much a little bit of pressure going back, leaning into it, holding for a few seconds, and come back. We're looking to gain mobility in that dorsiflexion because as we're running, we need to be able to handle that dorsiflexion load. If it's a stiff dorsiflexion or a limited dorsiflexion of the ankle, we don't have the capacity to properly load through the ankle. So again, second exercise here for the mobility for the ankle dorsiflexion. So two things that can limit our ankle dorsiflexion: the joint itself, that's what we just worked on with the bench. Second thing is tension in the Achilles and tension in the soleus muscle. So a nice way to get some release through that, you're going to get against the wall, you're going to find a little bit of a block or a 2x4 or a step, something you can put your foot or your toes up top. You're going to bend your knees a little bit, and then we're going to lean into it going forward. So here, we're looking to get a little bit of a pull through the back, through the Achilles, which that in turn will help that ankle dorsiflexion.
Is the goal to try to get your chest on the wall?
No, you're just looking to feel a pull in the back. So with your knee bent and your foot up, you don't have to go very far before. That's why we get the block up, because if we don't do that, we lose range and we can't go too far. So we get that little bit of a block, it brings the foot up, makes it a lot easier to kind of get that pull, get that mobility through the Achilles. We just kind of lean into it and back. Biggest thing we don't want to do here is bounce fast into the movement. You just want to ease into it.
Ease in, ease out.
And ease out of it. Give that one a try.
Right.
So again, looking for a pull right in the back of the ankle. Anything along here, right right into the heel is okay. Again, not looking for any pain. You're not pushing into pain. Just a little bit of mild discomfort. Good pulling through the back of the ankle.
I got to do more of this.
Perfect.
Feels so good.
All right, this is a simple one. So we did the test, single leg sit to stand, to see quad deficiency, to see if there's a discrepancy from left to right. The exercise comes down to the exact same thing we just did. So as a strengthen exercise, you're going to incorporate a single leg sit to stand. However, if you notice, like I was saying, you can't do a normal sit to stand one leg. What you can do is two things. Bring the height of the chair up so that it makes it a little bit easier for you to come up and down.
Less of a distance.
Exactly.
For you to push.
Or second thing you can do is keep that other leg on the ground. You're not pushing with this leg. You're using it as a kickstand just for a bit of balance. Gives you a little bit of stability. Part of this exercise, because it's single leg, is the lack of stability. We have a little bit of balance issue, so adding a little bit of balance support up and down allows you to do this exercise properly. The other thing you could potentially do is maybe use your hands a little bit if you feel like you need to. I think the two best ways, keep that leg out, or use a little bit of height. Really, the other way is if you really can't do it any other way, you keep this leg down and you just do a stagger step. So you're using both legs a bit, but the leg closest to the chair is doing a bit more work.
Okay.
Start with about 10 on each leg, and if you can do 2 or 3 sets of that, that's great. If you only get 7, you only get 7, okay?
Right on.
So again, really good exercises to mix into the routine.
What are the biggest things that you should try to avoid when you're recovering? What are the training errors that people do?
For sure. So a few recovery tips, a few things that we can find that are training errors. Again, not the end of the road, but we want to try to avoid this. First thing is not eating, not drinking properly before, during, after your runs. Things that we're going to touch on, follow the website, go see Run with Rob, and then there's going to be more details on that. Second thing is not enough rest days. So listen to your body. If you're running a day and you're trying to follow the plan and for some reason you feel like, you know what, I need to take a day off, that's okay. But a day off also doesn't mean you need to sit on the couch and do nothing. A day off can mean go for a walk, ride your bike. It could be modified rest. So that's another great thing we could do.
I love that.
Third thing that is a big training error is pushing through pain. So if we're starting to develop pain, again, we're not listening to it, that's the thing that we want to try to avoid. Again, a little bit of discomfort, a little bit of tightness, that's not pain. What we're talking about is pain that doesn't go away. So a little bit of discomfort throughout your run that seems to go away an hour after your run, not a big deal. What we don't want is pain that gets worse or the pain that the next day. If we're starting to develop that, first and foremost is take a few rest days, listen to your body. If it still doesn't go away, seek some medical help, go see a physio, talk to your doctor, talk to your trainer, and if they can find a way around that and they can keep you training, great. We don't have to stop training completely because of your pain, but we definitely want to listen to it and take note of it and jump on that before it gets that where you have to stop training completely. The last thing, biggest training error is going too fast, too quick. So we run into a problem where we jump into it too quickly, we're training too fast, we're not taking rest days, we're going too much distance, and we're not listening to our body. Big training error, especially when it comes to running, because when we're training for an end goal, people think I gotta go as fast as I can right away.
Oh, that was awesome, Q. That was fantastic. Are you ready to start this challenge? And if so, smash that subscribe button. Let's get started. Let's do this journey together. I'll see you in the next video.